This is the bottom line. I am Maurice Odhiambo, the African teacher. There are only two nations on earth today that can balance the military power of America. These two are Russia and China. Now, what we have seen happening in Venezuela signifies two things. Number one, it could mean the real end of the American empire, especially because Donald Trump has already said that they are colonizing Venezuela and the Americans will run Venezuela. Americans will administer Venezuela. This is basically back to territorial colonialism, which of course Africans are very much aware of since the Berlin Conference and the period of colonization. The second thing, of course, if America gets entrapped into this, you remember the Vietnam syndrome. So that then would mean the end of the empire. This could then be the last war that America ever fights. And of course, you remember Afghanistan, you remember Iraq, you remember Syria, the wars that dragged on and on and on. Number two, it could also signify the resurgence of empire. This is the goal of American policymakers at this point in time. I have always urged you to read a document that was authored by some key scholars in the US, whose end was to look at a roadmap that would enable the American empire to be a perpetual empire. And they analyzed different scenarios. They studied past empires, the Roman Empire and so on, and the reasons that led to their collapse. So that was a very intentional move. I remember reading an article where an American scholar argued that the US is so powerful militarily that it will be the first empire never to come down. That the US military capability is enough to ensure that the empire never collapses, despite the obvious contradictions that we have seen over the years. So Donald Trump came into the presidency, the second Donald Trump presidency, with only one aim: how to ensure that the American empire becomes a perpetual reality on the global stage. So I'll go back to my premise. If Russia and China, the two countries that can check the military might of America, are not ready to do so, then we must prepare for a period in human history that is totally unprecedented. A period where one superpower will reign for more than 100 years, because theoretically, we know that empires have 100 years of dominance and 30 years of decline. And Americans want to try and upset that historical fact. And they analyze that fact in the document that I will urge you to read. So this is a historical moment from different perspectives. And I hope that Africans can now see the link between a number of things which I have analyzed before. One of them is the bombing of Nigeria. The other one is Kenya signing a military pact with France. And the third one is the recognition of Somaliland, of the separatist state of Somaliland by Israel. I hope you can connect the dots. I hope you can see that these events are related and take them together with this colonization of Venezuela. Now you can see where global events are headed to, especially if Russia and China are either unwilling or are unable to balance the military might of the United States of America.